Hi, my name is Tony Bricardi. I am here for out of requests for messages and emails um, and stuff about the story of the TR7. Um, it's kind of a sad story, but a nice story at the same time. As you guys can tell, I'm a little sick. I was sick on the whole trip. Just so some of you guys know, I was sick on the whole trip from Metropolis, Illinois to Hibbing, Minnesota, and back again to Metropolis. It's about 900 miles up, 900 miles back. Um, and the reason that this car means so much to me is because in 2006, actually, we'll start off in 2005. 2005, my father had gotten the Triumph. I've never seen one before, never heard of one. But he at the time he was working for a cab company, and so one of the guys at the cab company, I guess they were talking about classic cars or something. But at the time, my dad, I don't know if he's heard of it. He probably has because he was an automobile kind of a guy, muscle car kind of a guy. And so when it comes to muscle cars, my dad loves them. So they, when one of the guys there did not, I don't think he knew much about the Triumph or anything like that, but he had it, and it was garage kept in a storage shed, or not storage shed, storage rental place. So after that, my father had bought that car for $500, $500, um, and it was that was pretty cheap. I'll take a let's have a look at my father's photos of his car and him. So this is my father at the top left hand side of the screen here. That is him right there. And in the middle you will see a picture of him with the Triumph. And at the bottom you'll see a different angle of the Triumph. Now this particular model is a 1976 version TR7. And his goal for me was, he says, I'll do the engine work, and then my goal that he gave me was to do the body work, which is buff and shine the paint. I'm very good with detailing cars. My dad knew this, and he put me in charge of that. Now, as you can see, the car is red, and at the top of the car is black. That is not paint. That is vinyl. And that's the car that he had owned. And then so we got along perfectly on that. But I got to tell you guys about that motor. So that motor in that car, when he had got the car and parked it in the alleyway, before he put it up in the driveway, he'd actually had it towed to the house. And when he had it towed to the house, the reason for that was because the engine was froze. So he used diesel fuel to unfreeze the motor, and it worked. So the car actually ran. It looked really beautiful. The inside was beautiful. I looked at the paint. It was beautiful. It was worth waxing 100 times. To me, there's never enough wax. I don't know why that is, but the shinier the better. But my dad was a great mechanic, and he made sure that that car was running perfect. I remember he did do a speed test on it, and it was pretty fast. It had the original motor, just like mine does. Excuse me, I'm chewing tobacco. But and so he garage kept that car himself too, but also took it out, to give it some air, open up the motor, is what he called it. So he would take it out to open up the motor, let it breathe, set her free for a little bit, and then park it right back in the garage. My dad had called me in 2006, February 22nd of 2006. No, actually, it would be February 21st, 2006. My dad had called me, and the girl I was dating at the time, he was having some beers in the garage with the car, and I said, okay, I'll he invited me and her over basically to have a few beers. So I thought it would be another thing of working on the car, stuff like that in the garage. Well, um, I did. I was at first like, why would you want to work on the car in the night? It's freezing out. Because in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, I don't know if you guys have been there, but it is freezing cold. It's I mean, my dad had a blowing some kind of a I don't know what kind of fuel that thing took, but it was like a heater that was a big cylinder, and it just blew out heat. You had to make sure you kept either, I can't remember, it's fuel or what else it was supposed to be. I don't remember what it was, but it was a heater that would heat up the entire garage because the garage was not heated. Um, and so we went there. Now, before I finish the rest of this, actually, no, I'll just go in it as order as planned. We had went into the garage, and it was getting pretty toasty in there. My dad has a passion for stereos and sound speakers as much as he did cars and radio disc jockey, because he used to do that for many years. Um, so we hung out there. My dad was having a few beers with me. We weren't working on the car, but he had wired the speakers from inside the car to the speakers into the garage. And he was just kind of showing off the power that little radio had, his cassette player that he had inside that came with the car. Mine did not come with the car. Mine's just all radio. So, anyways, it was kind of cool to see him upbeat and really happy, and doing that. But midnight rolled around, and the girl I was dating at the time was in college, and she had said, "Hey, I got to get going home here. We got to go because I got to get up in the morning." So, um, I had told Dad we got to go. That she had classes in the morning and stuff like that, and my dad was like, "Well, can you stay a little longer?" And so after that, we stayed. We stayed until 2:30 in the morning, and we drank alcohol, uh, and then after that, it was done. And my father had, um, right before we left, he had been sitting in the driver's seat of the car because the radio was there. He had to turn it down. We were by the door ready to walk out, and my dad looked at my girlfriend at the time, and had asked me, or had asked her if she loved, or he said it like this. I can't do a third party in a way, I don't know why, but he said it like this. He was like, "Do you love my son as much as I do?" And she said, "Yeah." And he said, "Then I'll know he'll be well taken care of." I think I have never left my dad home alone drunk in my entire life. I grew up with him where when I would drink with him, we would go up in the living room or his bedroom where he passes out. We would eat raw hamburger and milk. That's just the way I grew up. But this is the first time I ever left him alone drunk. I didn't see it as a danger because always he always got on us about certain things. And this is the part I don't understand. When my brother's girlfriend at the time, Desiree, had called me at 10:30 in the morning. No, 11 in the morning. 10:30. I'll get back to that because 10:30 is important. 11 o'clock in the morning, I got a phone call, and she had said, "You got to get over here. You got to get over here right now, right now." And I'm like, "What? What happened?" There's been a terrible accident. You need to come over here right now. And so I said, "Okay." And we got in the car. Me and the girl I was dating, she canceled our class. We hauled butt. And we got to the house. There was black cars. There was an ambulance. There was and I thought my grandma had fell or something. But once I got pulled off the street, and once I pulled into the alleyway, that is when when they saw me pull up and they saw me weaving in and out of those cars in the alleyway, they knew who I was. they had blocked the entire visual of the garage, like the big door that was open that exposed the entire inside of the garage. And so they had blocked that. Their law enforcement officers and EMTs were blocking my view. So I knew something had happened with my father after that, because either he had fell, um, and he was injured really bad, but why would they block off the whole area? I don't know. So to continue that, an officer approached me. I saw my brother and the girl he was dating at the time crying in the driveway next to the garage. And an officer approached me and had said, had asked me, was your dad ever suicidal? And I says, I told him the truth. I'm not gonna lie about it. So I told him the truth. And I said, well, once or twice when we were kids, he would talk about it, but he's never talked about it since we were kids. And that's when he says, you mind sitting in the car with me? And I said, oh yeah, okay. And at this time I'm thinking, is he dead? Is he, did he attempt suicide and didn't? What is the issue? Because why would the cop ask me that, right? This time I'm still wondering what's going on. So I'm in his car, and that's when he had told me, your dad is deceased. And I started crying, and I took my forehead and started bashing it into the police car's dash. It was horrible, and there was not much information except from my brother and Desiree, the girl he was dating at the time, who's also dead right now too. She died at 29. It was kind of a sad story that this all connects, but February 22nd, 2006, is the official date of his death. He had died by carbon monoxide poisoning in the garage. All doors were shut, every single door. His car door, and I heard this through EMTs, police, and my brother and the girl he was dating at the time, who both of them found my dad. So, guys, my grandpa died from carbon monoxide poisoning at that same residence in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. He died from carbon monoxide poisoning because of something wrong with the house, and it almost killed my grandma at the time, and my brother at the time, years ago, before I was born. My grandpa died May of 1978. I was born the following month, June of 1978. Now, the thing about this is, what I'm trying to piece together is, did he do it? Did he accidentally do it, or did he really do it? It's still a mystery to our whole family. Did my dad purposely commit suicide, or did he run out of fuel or whatever for the heater and was too tired to get up and tried to start the car just briefly to warm up? We don't know. But the thing is this: when I wanted them to investigate a little bit, they did. I wanted fingerprints on the key to see who touched it last, the ignition, everything. It would, all that stuff that matches suicide. It matches, but I don't know. I kind of don't see my dad doing that, but a lot of family members are saying that they think he did. It hurts my feelings enough, and everything, but the car is gone, his car. Other people have it. I don't want to get in the middle of why it was taken from the family, but that's when I looked. When his funeral was there, I looked into the sky and I said, Dad, one day I'm going to get you another one. And I really, really wanted to get him another one. Let's take a look at his car one more time. So I wanted one that looked so much like my dad's, or exactly the same. I could not find the exact same looking one, but one similar. And so I did a lot of searching and a lot of searching. Now I wanted the black vinyl and I wanted the red body. And so I did find that car. And we can bring that up here in a minute. Let me see here. We'll go back to this right here. And it wasn't this one that you see. It's not that one. But let me bring up my dad's real quick, or let me bring up mine real quick now. Actually, you know what? Let's do it this way. This might help out even more. Let me see. Let me look here. Whoops. Okay, we're gonna go over to my computer here. We're gonna go to the desktop where I have it saved. But like I said, I wanted to find one similar, and so I did a lot of searching, and of course you guys know what my car looks like. So we'll go back to my dad's, and so it's not the exact same, but it's similar. And so what I did when I found it, let me shrink that real quick. My phone takes extremely large, but so as you can see, I almost found a close enough match to match my dad's car, and that is what I purchased. Is that you're looking at the bottom left. My dad was born in 1956. He had passed away in 2006 from carbon monoxide poisoning, it's heartbreaking. Rest in peace to my father. I love you, Dad. Also the map. I want to show you guys the map if I haven't already. If I haven't already showed you guys this, look at this. This is how me going from Metropolis down at the south there, all the way up to Hibbing, Minnesota. We went up that far. To me, it was worth it. I wanted to go as soon as possible, but it was going to take a while to plan the trip, so it took about a month. Now the story behind that car is the lady I'd bought it from knows about what had happened with my dad and why I want her car that was listed for sale. I gave her an extra $1,000 to hold on to it for me, and for one more month, so I could go up and get it, which was that month trip that we had planned with me and my roommate here, and so we went up there, and when we were talking to each other on the phone and stuff, that was her husband's car, and her husband had passed away. We had talked about how many times I've been in my garage, or my dad's garage, and I was sitting in his car crying and having a few beers here and there and crying some more, and that would go on a long time, that I was crying with the car still in the garage about my father's death. She had told me the same thing. She's done the same thing when her husband died. She had went into her TR7. Well, it was his TR7 from the start, but that he had passed away, and she had went in the car too and did plenty of her crying, she said. So, you know, that kind of matched. But it was neat to see that I was going up to get my car. I called it my car from the beginning when I saw it, but and then I got up there, and as soon as they opened the garage to reveal the TR7, there was a lot of emotions going through me at once. I haven't seen one in person since 2006, my dad's death. That was the last time. About his death, I asked an approximate time that he had died, and I had left the garage at 2:30 in the morning, and he had died on their time around 4:30 in the morning. Now, I thought I was the last one to see him alive until the funeral. Now, the cab company he was working for, I guess he had taken his truck up to the gas station to get soda after he had drank that much booze. He went and saw one of his coworkers there, and that is when the coworker saw him at the garage, or saw him at the store getting sodas, Mountain Dew, which explains why the Mountain Dew bottle was on the top of the car that wasn't there when I was there when I was in the garage. He didn't tell me, nobody told me. I thought I was the last person, but at the funeral, the cab guy came up and talked to me about it. And so that explains why his body wasn't found until 10:30 in the morning. The approximate time of death was 4:30 in the morning, 2 hours after I had left. It's a tough deal. But now when I open my garage, I feel like he's right there. I was talking to him. I feel like I was talking to him, because I really was, even though he's not here anymore. His name was Barry Burkhardy. I could just tell you guys that, I was talking with God, and I was talking to my dad, saying, "Let's get through this trip, Dad. Let's get through this trip." And we're going together on this, Dad. And I mean, I was just like talking to him. So that is my story, ladies and gentlemen. The trip was cold. It was way below zero up there. The snow was flying everywhere, and it would just get worse and worse as my trip kept going. But the problem is rear lights weren't working. I have to hit one of the front lights to turn it on or to turn it on, because it would go out. I didn't want to get pulled over and get a bunch of tickets, so I wouldn't drive at night. Which was causing more problems as it was, because there was winter storm, which I can't remember the name of that winter storm now, but they had named the winter storm. We drove from Minnesota all the way down to Metropolis, and where I live now, and I can tell you that it was a hell of a trip. I fishtailed a couple of times, but the worst one, I felt my heart fluttering real bad, because I thought, oh no, whoa, but thank God I knew how to drive. A rear wheel drive vehicle is just, it's kind of crazy. So I don't want to bore you guys with being too long, but that's the story that you guys now know. So I love every one of you. Appreciate you guys' time and your guys' supporting in my trip during the whole way. Here at the end of this video right now, we're gonna start from order the videos of me going from point A to point B with the Triumph, which is from Hibbing, Minnesota, where the Triumph was, back home to Metropolis. Enjoy the vids, and I'll see you guys next time. This is what the car looks like in the winter in Duluth, Minnesota. I'll go all the way down to Illinois with it, so wish me luck. I'll make sure I post this right away when I get home. But this is what we're looking at right here, snow everywhere. This car is super amazing. We are on our way right now. We're still in Minnesota, but we're on our way to Illinois. I just want to let everybody know in the car club, this car is awesome. There's nothing wrong with it. It's perfect. It will make it the 900 miles total down to Metropolis, Illinois, en route as we speak. It's not even close to shaking. This car is smooth. It has traction. This car I've taken up to 80 already. There's nothing wrong with it. Ladies and gentlemen, the TR7 was worth the money. I love it. It's a hard top. It is just so good, gorgeous. It feels great in here. I will let you guys know later when I get farther down or get home. Talk to y'all later. At the moment, things are getting worse, but we got about 300 miles, I think, before we start to make it further. But this is what we're facing. The snow, all that. So we'll make it. Trust me, we'll make it. Love all you guys. Thank you for the support. At this point in time, we had to get off the interstate and take this back road because there's been a lot of semis and vehicles in the ditches. So I got a rear end vehicle. Most of those guys have front wheel. I don't understand why they're not driving smart. I don't know if they are or if it was just, I don't know. But it's getting pretty bad. Wow. I know I'm posting a lot. Message me if I'm posting too much. But my car right now is actually wobbling back and forth, so I'm probably going to stop somewhere and have a mechanic or somebody look at it. But let me roll down the window a little bit. That's what we're facing. The car is running fine, but the oh, okay, there we go. The car's running fine, but we're losing time. We're losing time, guys. It's gonna get worse and worse, and I don't want to stop at 5-6 motels for going home. But you know, it's part of the thing, I guess. I'll keep you guys updated. I'm driving just fine. If I have to go 40 or 50 mile an hour on the interstate, that's what I'm gonna do. But right now we're not on the interstate. We're actually pulling up at a city, which I'm happy we are, because then I can get this car looked at and find out why it's wobbling. If I have to stop somewhere because there's so much traffic, let me know in the comments. I don't know if I'll be able to get to them right away, but let me know in the comments if the TR7 naturally wobbles, but I don't remember it wobbling when I got it. So that's what's going on right now. It's frustrating because I don't know what the wobbling means. I did push on the tires. They seemed a little sturdy, but I'm not sure because the car's so light that the whole thing rocks anyway. And then I took I tested the lug nuts, but every time I tried to tighten them more, it would just slip off of the bolt. So I don't know, but definitely have it looked at, because I do not want to drive down the highway and then have my tire fly off. I spent a good amount of money on this car, and now I see why, because it is living through the conditions of hell right now. Frozen hell, not hot hell, frozen hell. But we're about 300 miles before we actually start hitting some decent weather. Let me flip the camera around a little bit. Let's see if I can do that while I'm live. I can. But the car's doing okay, but I'm hoping there's an auto mechanic place around so that I can, so that they can look and see why it might be wobbling. I don't know if you guys can tell by the way I'm holding my hand that I'm wobbling, but that's about it for now. Once I get it to a mechanic shop, hopefully there'll be one in this town. I don't know how many people are here, but we'll find out. Thanks, guys. Hey, what's up, everybody? Good morning. We're about to head out because it's morning, it's early, and I want to be there by early afternoon and get the car washed right away. I can't wait to get it washed. So, my eyes water in the morning. I just got done warming the car up. Well, still warming the car up. It's a cold start, but it works. Starts right up. Still no problem with it running. But it's cold, really cold. Where I live right now, it's probably 30 degrees, 25, 30 degrees. So, you could look it up. Metropolis, Illinois. Always good weather down there, even through the winter. There's a lot of snow out. Well, there's not too much snow here because we're in Illinois, south, or not south yet, but more or less. I don't even know if it's middle or not. I haven't looked at the map yet, but it'll be a little bit. And sorry, I'm just waking up. So, but about to head home. The finish line. About 5-6 hours away, maybe 7 if the ice is really bad, because the car's rear wheel drive. And I really can't wait to get it home and have it washed, because it's dirty. So I don't want it dirty. I want it clean when I put it in the garage and let it sit for a while now, because I just got done working that car in through this whole trip. So yeah, that's all I have for now, and wish me luck, and I'll be sure that when I get home to let you guys know. I'll wash the car and take pictures of it, maybe some video if you guys want some. So alright, thank you, and y'all have a good morning, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. This is the muffler right here. It just went bad 30 minutes before we got home. We were 30 miles away from home and the muffler gave out. It sucks, but we're gonna get a partial popper until I can find another muffler for it. So that's about it, guys. We made it home. Race done. So the car's home and it's safe. It's going in the garage as soon as we move a few things over. But beautiful. Just had it washed. Had the muffler guy fix the muffler. Can't wait to get it in the garage. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Besides that little ding right there, but that can be repaired. Come on, guys. You gotta admit, I really, really lucked out with this thing. I really lucked out with this thing. Going from North Minnesota to the deepest part of Illinois, which is Metropolis, right here. Man, oh man, oh man. Thank you guys for the support. I will keep you guys updated on things that I'll do to it. But till then, we are home.